The PowerPoint that basically has everything that you'll basically learn in driving school is going to be in the description, so make sure that you go check that out. Period.
Big booty bitch ain't little booty bitch, it's a hot girl summer now.
Hey, bad bitch taste like cherry, kiwi, real big titty, double DDs.
Hey babies, welcome back to another video. Period. If you're new here, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe to become one of my blue babies today. Period. Hey y'all, welcome back to another video. Period. Today's video, y'all saw the title and everything else. I'm so ready to give y'all this video. I've been planning this video and just getting all the information that I can get in order to give y'all this video. So in today's video, I'm about to be giving y'all tips and stuff on how to pass your driver's ed or driving school. So I have like a few notes in my phone. I don't have that many, so for the most part I'm going off the dome. I started driving school May 24th. I ended driving school June 4th. Before the video actually start, before I actually get into details and information and everything else, the first thing that I want to say is when it comes to driving school, getting your learners, getting your license, stuff in general, like when it comes to certain stuff, a lot of stuff, do it on your time. Don't do it on everybody else's time. Don't do it just because they're doing it right now. Like, just because they're doing it right now doesn't mean that it's your time to do it right now. Like, when it came to me getting my learners and driving school, I did it when I was ready. The way I look at it is when you rush and do stuff like that, like when you rush and do it, it doesn't work out. You know what I mean? So to me, I feel like when you take your time and do things when you're ready to do it, when you feel that you're ready to do it, it works out better for you in the end. So when my friends was driving and all of that, driving school, getting learners and all of that in high school, girl, I wasn't worried about none of that. I was worried about getting out of high school. Learners and everything else was going to come after. Yeah, it did feel like I was being left out because everybody else is driving. I got to depend on people for rides. But if I'm not ready, then I'm not ready. I'm not. Like, you got Lyfts, Ubers, taxis, bus, train. You got all these different types of transportation. You don't have to just jump and get your stuff just because everybody else is getting it. Get it when you're ready, so that way you passing it on your first try. You got all the information that you need. Like, girl, y'all get what I'm talking about. So I wanted to put that out there. Basically, just because the time is good for them doesn't mean it's gonna be good for you. So do it when you're ready. Okay. Just to give y'all a little bit of information on me, I got my learners in October of 2020. I got on my first try. I also did a video on how you can pass your learners on your first try, so you can go check that out. I've also helped a few people pass on their first try or pass in general off that video. So if you haven't got to the learners part yet, you can go look at that video, get some tips and everything else. And yeah, so I got mine in October. I got my learners in October. Like I said, I did driving school in May. So I helped my learners for 8 months, and then that's when I went to driving school. I started May 24th and I ended June 4th. Yeah, ended June 4th. It's a 2-week process. I don't plan on getting my license until October. The learners expire 2 years after you get them. So I got mine October 5th of 2020. So they expire October 5th of 2022. So it's not really a rush. I have until October 5th, 2022. I feel like I'm ready to get them this year. So yeah, and I kind of want to be driving by the time my birthday comes. My birthday is in December. So that's the plan. If September come and like I'm starting to second guess, then I probably won't do it in October. I probably wait until I'm like really ready. But as of right now, I feel like I'm ready to do it in October. So I'm gonna keep y'all updated, of course. I was gonna show y'all this little booklet that they give you when you pass your learners, for whoever that didn't pass their learners yet. If you already passed it, then you probably know what I'm talking about. But I found the book that I was talking about. So when you get your learners, this is what the book looks like. It goes through pretty much everything. Even like this is also for like your driving coach. Your driving coach is basically like somebody at home that can drive you. Well, no, not that can drive you, that is going to coach you in driving. So I had my mom, my stepdad, and my boyfriend who helps me drive, give me tips on driving and everything else. So this is good for your coach and for you. It gives you a lot of information on everything, how long that you have to hold your learner's permit and everything else. It gives you pre-entry check, getting ready to drive, the steering, moving the vehicle, turns, backing, positions when within the lane, intersections, changing lanes, leaving traffic, turning at an intersection, being passed, passing another driver, expressway driving, high speed, multiple lanes, divided highway with cross streets. Girl, I didn't even understand none of that. Wet roads, hydroplaning, fog, snow, how to drive and all of that. Yeah, girl, this book basically gives you everything too. So yeah, and then it also gives you a practice log, which looks like this, and you put the date, the start time, the skill and activity that was practiced. So parking, parallel parking, turning, signaling, everything you put right there, the time that you end, and the total hours that was complete. I think you do have to do a certain amount of hours. I can't really remember, but yeah, you get this book when you get your learners. So yeah. So before I really get into this video, I'm from Maryland. I live in the DMV, so most of my driving videos are based off the DMV. I don't know how it is in different states and cities and all this other stuff. I just know the DMV. So if you're not from the DMV, you can still watch. For the most part, this is DMV base. So yeah. So let's just get into this video. I'm gonna just go with the flow for right now, but I'm basically giving y'all the information that y'all really need. So the first thing that I want to talk about is what driver's ed is, or driving school. So it's basically just a 2-week process. It's only Monday through Friday. You have Saturday and Sunday off. It's like school, 2 weeks of school, but it's better because it's a little more like you're not really trapped in it for hours. I took morning classes, which were 10 to like 12:45 or 10 to 1, depending on how fast or how slow your teacher gonna teach. But for the most part, I was getting up out of there by like 12:45. I was still able to go to work. I was working 2 to 9 for the whole 2 weeks. Saturday and Sunday, I would work like in the morning, or I would still do 2 to 9, like, you know. So if you're doing it in the morning, you still got time to go to work, make your money and all of that. So that's what I did. Yeah, it's not just you in the class, it's multiple people. Sometimes it's not, it's kind of like, it's not a guarantee that you're gonna have like a room full of people. When I went, the class was full. Like I honestly didn't even believe that like the class can be that full during Corona. Like we still basically in the middle of a pandemic. Like that's a little too full for me, but it was cool. It was a little social distance, you know. We actually had like desks like school, like I said. It was a mixture of boys and girls, of course. It was only one teacher, but it was 2 instructors. I think it was 2 instructors, or I think it was just one instructor, and it was his assistant, and then it was the teacher. We kept the same teacher the whole time. The next one is how long is it? Like I said, it's 2 weeks and about 3 hours. Yeah, like 3 to 4 hours, 3.5. Next question, the cost. The cost for me, I paid online, so it was like $2.95. In person, like if you paid like in person, like you can show up to the class and pay for it then. But I think in person it was like $3.25 or $3.95 in person if you paid it in person. So I paid $2.95, and I paid like a few days before I had to go. You pick the week that you want to go on. For the people who don't know or was wondering, I went to Safeway Driving School, which is located at Iverson Mall. If you don't know what Iverson Mall is, then you probably don't live in the DMV. But if you live in the DMV, you know what Iverson Mall is. I went to the driving school there. Very easy, very much given like, yeah, the easy way out, you know. But it was still a cool little class. It was fun. I actually learned a few things and it was cool. The next question is, when is the best time to start? The best time to start, like I said, is when you're ready to start. Also, it's best to start before your learners expire. So, yeah. Also, just to put a little more information in there, you can start driving school at the age of like 16. I don't know if you can start before 16, but I know at 16 you can start. You can get your learners at 16, all of that. You just have to have a parent and all of that type of stuff. But you can get your learners and you can start driving school at the age of 16. Also, when it comes to driving school, getting your learners and everything else, like I always say, speak it into existence. Like when I got my learners, I said I was going to pass it on my first try. I was at the NVA, I was standing in line, and I was like, I'm about to go in here, I'm about to pass it, I'm about to get my learners today. Period. And you know what your girl did? She went in there and got her learners today. Well, that day. And also when it came to driving school, I said I was going to pass driving school. I was not trying to do driving school over. I wasn't trying to do driving school again. I wasn't trying to be struggling. None of that. And you know what your girl did? Pass driving school with 80%. I said it in How to Get Your Learners Permit video, and I'm going to say it in this video, and I'm going to say it so on and so on and so on. When it comes to things that you want in life, speak it into existence. Speak it in a positive way. Don't be negative about it. Speak it into existence. Speak it through positivity. Believe in yourself. Be confident. Do it when you're ready, so that way you're not doubting yourself. You're not talking down on it. When you're ready, you know that you're ready. You're confident about it. So that's why I say do it when you're ready, not when somebody else wants you to do it, or not when everybody else is ready. Do it when you're ready, so that way you know for sure that you're passing it. Period. That's basically all the questions that I really could think of. Before I get into the whole what to expect and how everything went, it was a PowerPoint that we went over in my class. It's actually on like the Merlin or DMV type of website thing. However, I am going to link it in the description. It is basically everything that we went over in driving school. So even if you haven't started, you can look through it. I think it was like 12 or like 14 units. Just go through all the units on there. It's basically everything that you need to know. Even at the end of the unit, it was saying something about like car insurance and all of that. So now to what to expect when you go to driving school. I'm gonna just share my experience. So I went to the driving school, like I said, at a mall. It's Iverson Mall. You will walk in, it will be like an office. That's where the instructor and his assistant or whoever she was is in there. And you walk in, it's the class. So the class, you normally sign in, put your name and the time that you came in, and you'll pick up your folder. Your folder has it has a final, like an empty final worksheet. Not a worksheet, but like an answer sheet. So it says final test, and it has 1 through I think 40, something like that. And then you flip it, and it's like a paper that you put all your information, your address, phone number, year that you graduated, your age, your birthday, your signature, da 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 da. And it also has like, I don't know what it's called, but it's like, it's a white paper, and then when you lift it up, it's like a yellow paper. So when you write on the white paper, it automatically like, you know, goes onto the yellow paper. So it's like a fine print type of thing. I don't know what they call it, but I'm pretty sure y'all know what I'm talking about. So it's basically for records. So the school, when you put in your information and everything else, the owner of the driving school normally sends your paperwork over to the NVA, so that way they have your information and stuff on file. And it's like a few other papers that you had to sign, consent forms and everything else. That's the first thing that you do on your first day. You fill out all those papers, and then it's unit 1, which is like what to expect in driving school, the basic stuff, like where stuff, like it's just basically just the basics that everybody pretty much already knows, the easiest, you know, the easiest everything. Then after the class is over, probably like when it's like the last like 30-45 minutes of class, The teacher gives you like a test paper. There's multiple choice. It's the question, full answers, question, full answers. Probably like, I want to say it's probably like 10 or 15 questions on it. In the folder that they give you, you also have like a practice or cheat sheet type of thing. So when the teacher gives you the test, it's like a paper that's in your folder. When you do it, when you answer the questions on the test, you put it on that sheet, putting it back in your folder, give it to your teacher grades it. So every day you get a test. After every unit, at the end of your class, you get a test paper that has the questions that was on that PowerPoint that I got in the description. Okay. You go over that PowerPoint. At the end of the class, the teacher gives you like a test. She gives you a test, and it's also a paper that's like, it's either in your folder or sometimes your teacher gives it to you. Depends on how your driving school is. That's how mine was given to me. So yeah, you go over the test, put your answers, My teacher gave you the option, once you was finished with your test, you can either give it to her and leave, or you can stay in the class and go over the answers. I stayed in the class and went over the answers because I need to know why that's the answer, since when, why is that not in the PowerPoint. I need to know everything, you know. So they give you the answers and all of that. That basically is like the whole process of the whole 2 weeks. The last day is when you have the final test. It's basically the 40 questions, and it's the same questions, the same answers and everything else from the 2 weeks. So from the Monday that you started to the Thursday of next week, it's the same questions, same answer, same everything on the final test. I passed mine with I want to say it was like an 80 or 86%. Yeah, so I passed. The lowest that you can get, I think, is like a 70. You have to stay after you finish the finals, because then you have to schedule your behind the wheel driving with the instructor. So my first behind the wheel day was on the 15th of June. Mind y'all, I stopped driving school on the 4th. I had to do behind the wheel driving with the instructor on the 15th. And my next behind the wheel driving is on the 25th. Basically, behind the wheel driving is just practice driving with the instructor from the driving school. It's not a test. It's not nothing. You can't get your you can't get your license from that or anything. You just practicing. That's basically it. Like, he don't quiz you or nothing. You're just, or he or she don't quiz you or nothing. You're just practicing. Whoever your instructor is basically just helping you drive, period. Drive and parking, giving you a little bit of tips and everything else on how to drive and everything else. So my first day, it was pretty much like my first time like really driving. Like, I've drove multiple times. Probably like before I started driving school, I probably drove 3 times. Not even gonna lie to you. In my entire life, before June, I started driving school. I drove with my instructor on the 15th. Out of my entire life, I probably drove at least 3 times. 5 times at the most. So you don't have to be advanced. You don't have to be driving your entire life to go through driving school or none of that. It's a learning process. So, and I'm not ashamed to say it, I don't care. Yeah, I drove even like 3 to 5 times in my entire life. However, when I drove, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my calendar. When I drove on the 15th with my instructor, since that day, I was driving every day. I was either driving to work or from work. I think day before yesterday was my first time driving at night. I did good. Yeah, so basically after the 15th, I was driving every day. Like, whether it was right down the street, right around the corner, on the highway, I was driving. The day before yesterday was my first time driving on the highway and my first time driving in the dark. I like driving in the dark better than in the day, just because it's less cars. I don't have to really do too much looking and being aware. So yeah, And like I said, the next time that I go is on the 25th. So after the process of driving school, after you finish your finals, you go into the office with your instructor and you go over, not really go over nothing, you just basically schedule your behind the wheel driving. So I scheduled my first one, like I said, on the 15th. Once I did that, the day of the 15th, once we was finished driving, I scheduled my second day, which is on the 25th, like I said. I don't know if I have to do more than 2 days or not, so let me just put that out there. But I do know that you have to do like 6 hours with the instructor, and once you did the 6 hours, after that you have to pay for extra hours. That's at the driving school that I went to. I don't know if every driving school is like that, but yeah. Once I do the 6 hours with the driving instructor, if I feel like I want to do more of him, then I have to pay. That's basically it. The PowerPoint that basically has everything that you'll basically learn in driving school is going to be in the description, so make sure that you go check that out, period. If you have any questions or want me to go into detail with anything else, you can either leave it in the comment section or you can text me on Instagram. I reply to all my messages. It might be like a little late, like an hour or two, but I reply, okay? Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that you come back for more videos, and when you come back, make sure you bring your friend, period, because we lit always. And yeah, I'm gonna see you in my next video. Bye.
Big booty bitch ain't little booty bitch. It's a hot girl summer now.
Ay, bad bitch taste like cherry, kiwi, real big titty, double titties.